Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Daily Cannon's Tactics Board. Stephen Bradley here, bringing you the tactical tweaks and quirks that came from a completely boring and uneventful win against Benfica in the Europa League. Thank God we're through. Jesus Christ, thank God we're through. Ooh. Uh, So, what went right? What went wrong? Are there any long-term, issues to be looked at from this game? Are there any, future consequences from any substitutions that Arteta made and any game plans that he implemented? Yes, yes, there are. This game was illuminating in a number of ways, and yeah, let's get straight into it. How did the team set up? If you watched last week's video with Arsenal and Benfica in the first leg, it's exactly the same. There is no difference in either team's lineups. Arsenal played this half 4-2-2-2 with Saka pushing forward a bit, Smith Rowe coming in, and Aubameyang looking for these channels here. And Benfica played this very mad in a way with such a slow back three, but playing a back five. They were doing this at every opportunity to try and push Arsenal back. And it required Arsenal to be patient at times. It required Arsenal to maintain a level of control and a level of just game management per se, just to make sure that they could work Benfica into making mistakes and put Benfica into positions where they didn't want to be. And they did so, frankly. And here's the two heat maps. Here's Arsenal and here's Benfica. And you'll see Arsenal have a lot of the ball here, which means when Arsenal did have the ball and Benfica were pushed back a little bit, with Trapped and Weigl playing very, very deep, Bellerin would come forward, as he always do, Saka would come right, and Odegaard would also go right wing, meaning that Aubameyang would often be on the left wing and Smith Rowe here. And on the face of it, with Danny Ceballos joining in, on the face of it, the idea looks as if they're trying to overload Benfica's left wing. They're trying to get space and either get Bellerin in here or Saka one-on-one of the defenders. And it's kind of true, but not really, because the plan was to basically entice Benfica in, to get them to come across, to get Otamendi to drift over, to get Verasimo to drift over, to get Gonçalves to drift over, and do this. And that way, when Pizzi and Rafa are also back and Seferovic is forward, basically, you're encouraging this. This is what you want. As Arsenal, this is what you want to see. You want Kieran Tierney bombing up the wing left and up and down, just doing this all game long. And if you look at Tierney's heat map himself, I mean, Jesus, that's like, yes, he's had a bit of the ball at left back, but good God, like that's there. So Arsenal had no problem getting the ball here to Tierney. And was his crossing in this game spectacular? No. But it's Operation Shock and Awe. Sometimes you don't actually have to be effective in what you're doing. You just have to be able to be a credible threat at what you're doing. And it's the famous line when in 2001 when the Americans went in for Operation Shock and Awe that it wasn't that effective. And they were saying, well, the whole point of Operation Shock and Awe was to shock and awe them. It wasn't actually supposed to work. It was supposed to make them go, ah, and panic. And that's what it did. And the same happened in this game, because Tierney doing this for 20 minutes, after a while, Gonçalves went, look, I can't take the risk anymore. I don't care how much of the ball Arsenal have out here. I'm not giving Tierney all this room. I'm the right wing back. It's my job to keep an eye on him. So I'm going to stay out here. Which means Verasimo now, because obviously, look at all that space for Aubameyang. And we know how dangerous Aubameyang is making that back run to the back post, as we saw at the end of the game. But that's what he was hoping for. He was hoping for a bit of space here. But of course, Verasimo is not a mug, so he comes here. So now there's this space. So you're looking at Aubameyang going, oh, okay, well, he'll run through here. And Otamendi now here. And now Vertonghen's here. And now Grimaldo is now marking the right back. And now there's space. Because they're trying to cover this run. So when Odegaard is here and Saka has the ball here, they expect it, because Arsenal have been doing it for 20 minutes, to get shuffled all the way over here with Smith Rowe there and to get Tierney one-on-one with Gonçalves. So they all shift over. They all do this. And it now requires an intelligent pass. It requires a little bit of game management, but a little bit of game nous. In the sense that, okay, I can see all the defenders going this way. Wouldn't it be mad if the ball actually went this way? Aubameyang runs in past Vertonghen, Saka finds the ball and it's 1-0. And it's those sort of intelligent decisions that separate good teams from excellent teams. And it's the sort of stuff that Manchester City, as they showed at the Emirates last Sunday, do all the time. They make your defence run into positions where it doesn't want to go and make decisions that it doesn't want to make. And yes, it requires precision, and it requires an ability to look up and see what's happening and react accordingly. And a big criticism of Arsenal's attacking play under Arteta up until the last month or so has been that it's been too predictable. We saw how after season restart, after the season started again in September, when Arsenal had won an FA Cup and they were playing five at the back, and it was always a case of, just for argument's sake, they'd have three centre backs. Tierney would actually be the third centre back. Saka could be playing left wing back. Bellerin right wing back. And we all know that the ball would go to David Luiz, to Bellerin. Aubameyang would be playing left wing. Pepe would be here. And the job for Pepe was to get the ball to the back post for Aubameyang to score. That was it. Arsenal's one move. And it was working until it didn't. And then you have to change it. And similarly, after a while, Benfica just moved trapped over here. Weigl sat in the middle, and Pizzi stayed on Xhaka, and Rafa stayed on Ceballos, and demanded that Saka and Odegaard beat them down the right wing themselves 3-on-2, with Bellerin chipping in occasionally. And the difference between Bellerin and Tierney is that every time Tierney gets the ball here, as an Arsenal fan, you are encouraged because you know he has the quality to put in a brilliant ball. You know he has the ability to beat the fullback one-on-one and get in behind. He is dangerous on the ball. He is a threat. Bellerin, as quick as he is not Tierney. He is not as good on the ball, he is not as good a dribbler, and he is not as good as crosser. So as a result, if you are Benfica and you have the choice, right, okay, I'm going to pick Tierney or Bellerin. Which side of the pitch do I cover more? The defence is going to do this. It's going to shift over left. So as much as Arsenal were trying to get the ball out wide to the right, Benfica were more than happy to sit like this almost and just wait for the ball to eventually come back to the left, get crossed in, headed out and start again. And that was the first half, until Danny Ceballos decided that we were all having far too normal a Thursday evening and he was going to make us clench. And game management, again, it's this sense that you just have to have this game smart about you, where no matter what in a knockout game, do not give away free kicks 25 yards out from goal. Especially with 2 minutes to go at the end of a half, because you don't have a chance to respond. And this game illustrated where Arsenal are lacking, because they were given a chance to kill off the half and they didn't take it. And it's games like this where Xhaka and Ceballos get the most criticism, because Arsenal play best when they're on the front foot. They play best when they're proactive, when they're trying to get the ball forward, where they're at least in their heads, they're going, right, we need to go score, we need to go attack, we need to be on the offensive, we need to, keep going. And there are games when Xhaka and Ceballos, when they decide to, are excellent at this. Xhaka's been really good for the last month and a half because in his head, he's trying to get the ball forward more. He's trying to attack more. He's trying to at least drive the team forward and keep them pushing forward. But in tonight's game, he was anything but. He was ponderous, he was slow, he was taking an extra touch, he was making sure he was making sure he wasn't making any mistakes. But in doing so, he was robbing the team of any momentum. Anytime the ball came to him, he'd look around, right, okay, I'm not going to make a mistake, I'll pass it backwards. And Ceballos was doing kind of the same thing. They were making sure that they didn't ruin any moves, that they weren't the person to blame. And as a result, anytime they got the ball, Benfica were able to step forward 5-10 yards every time because Xhaka and Ceballos were not brave enough, courageous enough to play the forward passes needed to attack a backline that is, pushing up as high as possible and doesn't have the pace to cover. Aubameyang was making run after run after run behind the backline, and he wasn't being found because the two midfielders weren't willing to make a mistake. And it's that, what's the right word for it? It almost reluctance to do something. It's that reluctance to press forward, to be positive, that Xhaka showed tonight and Ceballos showed in his two mistakes, because he panics. Yes, it's not exactly a yellow card that he commits, but he sticks a leg out after taking too much time on the ball in the first place. And then the second goal, I mean, it's from an Arsenal build-up. It's from an Arsenal corner. David Luiz, I know there. Ceballos is here. He's 30 yards out from goal. There isn't... Pizzi and Seraforic are here. Bellerin is running back. Tierney is running back. There is literally no one within 15 yards of him, and he doesn't look. Like, it's just awareness. It's peripheral vision. It's, literally turning your head left and right going, what's on? Where am I? And he didn't even need to head the ball. He could have just watched it and dropped it on his chest, controlled it, and off he would have went. But he didn't, because he was too eager to get rid of the ball, because he didn't want it. So what does he do? He just heads it back in the hope that someone's there. And there wasn't. Rafa's in, and it's 2-1 Benfica. And all of a sudden, Arsenal's plan, which was to try and have some control over the game, to try and not bleed the game to death per se, but to make 3 or 4 good chances, score 1 or 2, and go from there. That is now out the window, because now Benfica have almost 7 back. And you have a midfield that won't progress the ball forward, and a right back who's not very good at attacking. What do you do? What do you do? And that was a question that Mikel Arteta found an answer for. So, first off, he takes off Dani Ceballos and brings on Thomas Partey, which is a substitution that 100% of it would make. Partey, delighted that he was fit, didn't want to risk him just in case it was going to be a handy 2-0, 3-0, and brought him on with half an hour to go in the hope that he could do something. And immediately, Arsenal found an ability to suddenly pass the ball forward, because it wasn't getting held up in midfield anymore. Because he was willing to take chances. He was willing to spread the ball out wide. He was making sure, he was trying to beat players off the dribble. He was making sure that Arsenal did have a driving forward force going forward, which meant Xhaka could literally get out of the way. But his second change... oh boy. I tweeted it during the game. You can see me at the bottom here. If you want to follow me on Twitter, go to @Bradley08. That the whole of Twitter exploded when Willian came on, because he's been in horrible form. And I just tweeted that the cojones, the balls on Arteta to bring on Willian in this spot are admirable, because boy, does he have the strength of his own convictions to go, nope, I know better. Nope, this is what I want to do. Nope, I think this is the best option I have, so I'm doing it. I'm not giving in to public opinion. This is what I think is best, so I'm doing it. On you go, Willian. And whisper it, he was right. And here's why. When Pepe was brought on against Manchester City when he was playing left wing. Tierney and Pepe consistently ran into each other. It was not a relationship that was working. It was not a partnership that was cohesive because they kept bouncing into each other. They kept trying to make the same runs, and as a result, Arsenal weren't really able to get anything going on the left. And then when Aubameyang was made play left wing, it didn't work. He wasn't going to move Saka from right wing to left wing because Saka was having a good game at right wing. Odegaard's best, it appears that his best performances are towards the right. He doesn't like to be left wing. He likes to play around here and curve balls in with his left foot. So on comes Willian. And Willian was given a very simple job. It was make sure that this man here, Kieran Tierney, has a free run down the left. Your job is to take the attention of Gonçalves and Verasimo as much as possible. Your job is to make sure that he can run at whoever he wants. And it worked because he went here. And what he did was Gonçalves now has to come back and stick onto him like a limpet because Willian's best skill is beating a man one-on-one. So he has to stay close to him. And when, I believe it was, Tarapta went off first. So when Trapp went off for Everton, Everton decided that he also was going to go here and try and block off Tierney. So Verasimo, Vertonghen and Otamendi are grand. But right, we've been saying Tierney's best moves of the game were going down this channel here. But with Willian out, Arteta was saying, I don't want Tierney here. I want him here. I want him running through this gap here. I want him getting into the box. I want him closer to the box so that he can find better balls for Aubameyang going far post, Saka and Odegaard going here. And within 4 minutes it worked. Because Everton, when Willian got back here, Gonçalves collapsed, Verasimo went back to try and block Aubameyang, Otamendi is trying to play Saka here, and it's like this, almost. They're trying to make sure that this isn't going on. So it's Everton who is trying to block Tierney. And Everton has no idea which way Tierney's going to go because Tierney can go either way. He showed against West Brom he can bend it in from there. So Everton just tries to stand a little bit square. Tierney burns him for pace. Helton goes near post because he thinks the defenders have got the cross covered. Tierney goes lol, smashes it in the corner, it's 2-2. And Arteta's substitution has worked. It has created a goal. And now Arsenal have a chance. The problem is that Tierney has missed 6 weeks of football and is now coming to the end of his third game in 8 days. And soon after this fantastic goal ran out of steam completely. So Arteta couldn't rely on this chance working again and again and again. So he had to go to plan Z, basically. And I just want you to look at the red dots. 11 players, well, 10 and Leno. Out of those 10 players, which one of these is least likely to create a chance or score a goal? It's Bellerin. It's the right back. Now, do you bring on a Cedric for Bellerin, to try and get a goal? Of course you don't. So, you take him off and you dig into the Arsene Wenger book of tricks and you throw on a striker for him. And you put your striker there. But now you've got no right back. And he does this. And I have spent many minutes on many videos on this relatively new channel bemoaning the fact that Arteta's plan, whenever to get another striker or another attacking player, is to take his best attacking player and put him left back. Well, you should have seen my face when I saw him trotting back to right back. I was like, good Why? Why on earth are you taking a player who has played 12 games at right wing for Arsenal and has scored 10 goals or assists in 12 games at right wing? Why, in God's name, are you putting him here? And the honest answer is that he had no other choice. But again, it's one of those situations where it's desperate times call for desperate measures. And whisper it worked. Because what Bellerin wasn't doing on the wing, Saka did. Odegaard now has a little bit more freedom come in. Partey is driving the Benfica midfield back basically by himself. Xhaka is just making sure everyone gets the ball. Willian is keeping these back. Tierney is at least now almost as a decoy. He's drawing Verasimo in, which means this channel is free. So what does Lacazette do? Lacazette sticks onto Vertonghen like a limpet because he goes, look, I want to make sure Aubameyang has a one-on-one here. Saka gets the ball. Everyone gets back. Aubameyang has a one-on-one with the centre-back. It's a perfect ball. Aubameyang is here, and it's 3-2 and it's game over. And the gamble worked. And you recall that I said at the start of the video that there are long-term implications from this game. And there are, even though Arsenal won. And they come in the fact that this would have been a season-defining game for Arsenal. It literally doesn't matter where the Benfica players are at this point. They lost. Lol. But 2-2, 15 minutes to go. Arsenal need a goal to save their season. This here is the team that Mikel Arteta entrusted to get that goal. Right? Which is fair. If I am Eddie Nketiah, if I am Gabriel Martinelli, and certainly if I am Nicolas Pepe, I am standing at the manager's door tomorrow morning when I get back into London Colney. I'm sitting in his office and I am very, very interested in his reasoning why I wasn't brought on to save his season. Why, when Arsenal absolutely desperately needed a goal, more than any time they have all season, I wasn't brought on, and I wasn't brought on. I wasn't even considered. That at 2-1, Willian, a person who has been in no good form at all, was considered ahead of Nketiah, Martinelli, or Pepe. If I'm one of those three players, I need answers. Because what Arteta did tonight will show that these are the players he trusts. That these are the players, when push comes to shove and when he's desperate for a goal, these are the attackers that he wants on the pitch at the time. He wants to attack like this. That when everyone's fit, when everyone's healthy, and when everyone's given a chance, these are the five that he wants. You could argue that Smith Rowe for Willian. That's it. So, yeah. If I'm one of these three right here, I'm wondering what my future is at Arsenal. Because Mikel Arteta had to manage for his future at Arsenal tonight, and he succeeded. But he did it without Nketiah, he did it without Martinelli, and he did it without Pepe. And Nketiah, it can be argued that he's still a young talent, that he's still a young prospect, and that his place is as a squad member. Martinelli can be argued that he's 2 months back from a serious knee injury, he's getting his game legs back, and he didn't want to be risked. But you can't leave a £72 million player on the bench when you need 2 goals in 20 minutes to save your season. You're not Real Madrid, you're not Barcelona, you're not City, you're not United. Arsenal can't afford that. And what tonight showed was that Arsenal needed a goal and Nicolas Pepe didn't come on. It's going to be a rather interesting couple of days in London Colney, I suspect. And if you did enjoy this video and this discussion, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want these videos popping up in your inbox every time. Comment under below to tell me why I'm wrong. And yeah, we will see you Sunday after the Leicester City game. Cheers.